Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathis. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad, good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lovely to talk. You me funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
Brad Gilmore! And joining me right now to talk about the new book, The Black Family Who Built America, the McKissacks, 2 centuries of daring pioneers, is the namesake herself, the 5th generation owner of the company, Cheryl McKissack Daniel. Ms. Daniel, how are you?
I am great, Brad.
Look, congratulations on the book, because a book is so difficult to do. It is arduous. It is time consuming. You start to question yourself of, why am I doing this? And then you finish it and the world gets to see it. So congratulations on finishing the book, because that is a task in its own hand.
Absolutely. This has been a 20-year plus ordeal.
So how does it feel to share your family story? Because what's so interesting is you have such a deep knowledge of going back to, obviously, to Moses. Your great-great-great-grandfather, I guess, would be I don't know if I got enough in there. Going back to Moses and knowing your whole family history. You know, my father was 80 and he just passed away in June. And I started going back and learning more about the family and finding out all these amazing things like public service and all the stuff I didn't know before. But growing up with that and knowing kind of your family history, how do you think that helped shape you?
Listen, I have to say, this has been an amazing journey. 230 years after Moses McKissack the first laid his first brick, the McKissack family still is an unshakable model of what resiliency and ingenuity is all about, right? We are both a mirror and a beacon. We reflect the struggles of African Americans in professional fields in the United States, as well as we're a beacon because we show what happens when perseverance can meet purpose. You know, the McKissacks were architects, a field that was really preserved for the elite. And, I'm talking about before DEI was a corporate matter. The McKissacks climbed up on their seats and they were drafting and they were architects. And so, it really represents, it talks about how representation is really important as far as this country is concerned and how to make that structural. It's not a slogan, it's how to make it structural in a country that struggles to be fair, a country that's still, grappling with questions we've answered about equality, equity, and opportunity. And so I am just pleased that this book is out at this time, in this era, because it is a receipt to say that Black families have been contributing to this country for many, many years, and it cannot be erased. You can try to ignore it if you want, But Black excellence is here to stay. And we have built this country. It says the Black family that built this country, but really it's the Black community as a whole who have built this country. And so that's why we use the title that we use. It needed to be more of a metaphor to just bring awareness, because people walk into buildings and structures all day, but they never ask who built it. So that's our tagline. Who built it? Well, we did.
It's time to let people
McKissacks
know.
And the Black community, we did.
Well, you're so right though, because when I was younger, we used to think about this idea of a colorblind society, right? Of okay, we don't want to see race, but I then got married, and it's an interracial relationship. My wife is Middle Eastern, and we were talking about this, and it was like, if you don't see the ethnic background of somebody, you also don't see their experience and their contributions and what their culture has brought to the United States as it is today. And I think it's such an important idea to explore, and it's not something to ignore. We should embrace
Right.
the diversity that we have, and
Right.
it, especially in underrepresented communities. Like your family in architecture, I can only imagine they had to borrow a line from Jay-Z, had to learn how to move in a room full of vultures at times, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's all in my book. I mean, can you imagine two Black men going to take their architectural license in 1922 in Tennessee, where the Ku Klux Klan started? Moses McKissack the second, incorporated us right after emancipation. And in Pulaski, which is right where the Ku Klux Klan started. So yeah, that unfolds a lot of questions. I mean, it makes you ask a lot of questions like how were they able to do this? And we write about that in the book. Nick and I make a case of how the McKissacks were able to last for 5 generations.
And what if you were to say that there was one singular, attribute that was able to make you all last for those 5 generations and going to continue on to 7, 8, 10, 12 generations down the path? What is that one? What is that one attribute?
Well, I would say resiliency.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to re-engineer a business, and really not engineer it because technology has changed, but because the environment in which you're operating has changed. Right after emancipation, Black businesses were thriving up until there's a chapter in my book called From Tennessee to Hollywood. And Hollywood, people say, well, what on earth could Hollywood have to do with this story? But that terrible movie, Birth of a Nation, did have an effect on the McKissack. And, it just gives the backdrop of what they had to be resilient about. And so, shifting from having, white clients to having to now focus really on the Black community. And so that's how, we started working at historically Black colleges, churches. And I mean, all this was strategic. They knew exactly what they needed to do to keep their business alive.
So resiliency and strategizing, both of those
Yes.
attributes, is needed for the McKissacks to get to the point that the company and the family is today. So when did you say I wanted to put this in a book form and share it? Because I know it was put out through Black Privilege Publishing, Charlemagne the God, obviously, and Simon and Schuster. Why did you decide a book was the right thing to do to tell this story?
Because I had tried everything else. I knew this story was important. It needed to get out. It's like the movie Hidden Figures, with the Black women who were behind the space, program for the USA. We're the hidden figures of construction. And so, I started off trying to do like a TV sitcom. That didn't work, working with people in Hollywood. And then, I started with a historian trying to write a book, and the book was so boring, I had to just throw it out. I could not believe how hard it is to tell a story of 230 years. But Nick Childs was the secret sauce. He understood how to make this book interesting and still tell the story. So, it's all these iterations of meeting people and just, persevering and staying on track with a purpose to get this done. I knew the story needed to get out. And then, of course, it comes out right at the time we need it most.
Yeah. And why would you say this is the right time when we need it most? If you were to kind of expound upon that idea.
Well, we're at a time where our nation is questioning a lot of the things that I feel like we've answered. We're trying to erase Black history, get rid of DEI programs. And DEI programs, I have to say, are a structural part of our success as the McKissack family, especially when I moved to New York City. It's those programs that were able to level the playing field that allowed me to get entry into opportunities. And so these programs are strong, they do work, they do grow businesses. And then, those businesses can begin to compete with mainstream. And so that's why it's important. We're just here to say, listen, you can't get rid of us.
Well, it's
Can't get rid of
interesting
us.
because I know that the DEI slogan or what have you has been, I don't know, it's become a dirty word almost to say, right? Like that it has this shadow cast upon it. But the idea of diversity is so powerful because if you have a diversity of culture and color, but you also have diversity of thought, opinion, perspective, and ways to tackle ideas, and I really think that we have strength in diversity. It's not a weakness to provide, to have that in your boardrooms, to have it in Hollywood, to have it in publishing, to have it in construction and architecture. Diversity really is a superpower in a lot of ways, and I don't know why people don't view it in that perspective.
Because people are jealous, people are insecure, people need to have someone they can stand and on top of and say they're better than. So, it's just human nature. And we can't let DEI be a dirty word because
Right.
it is profitable, right? It does, create innovation. And so as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to say DEI every chance I get.
Well, let me ask you this, because I think that when people hear that, they automatically assume, oh, they were put in this position only for their culture or only for their ethnic background or gender. But it's not that. It's like, no, the qualifications are there as well. Don't think that this was just handed out. The qualifications are there. It's just adding a diversity of thought, opinion, and culture to, where one really isn't right now. Right? I mean, it's not that there's not.
So the people who see it that way, they
Yeah.
also usually believe in the great replacement.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
You're
All
right.
right. As opposed to the fact that they have barriers up to a lot of people out there. Okay. And usually when you see a diverse person in a situation, they are overqualified.
Yeah,
And I know
absolutely.
that for a fact because I compete out there.
Mhm.
And so that's insecurity. And okay, you have every single slot at at Harvard. Okay, don't make any room for any diverse students, right? Well, that's not fair either.
No.
And so what happens to the other 50% of America? This is probably close to 50% now.
Yeah. I'm sure
Yeah,
that it is, if
of
not maybe even a
diversity.
little bit higher,
Yeah.
50%. And I just think that, yeah, it comes from what? Probably fear of the unknown, as you said, insecurity, even some
Mhm.
immaturity on there. Pride, ego, and immaturity can be the downfall of us all at times. And I think that stories like in the book that you've written and the story that you're sharing about your family is amplified because it is a Black experience, but it's also a uniquely American experience. And we should
Yes.
amplify stories like that and definitely not try to pretend it never happened. I mean, we need to know history,
Exactly. And we need to know the true history. I
true
mean,
history. Yes.
my book is about truth, and it's enlightening.
It truly is. And yes, you're right. We want true history, not just his story, right? We want a history. We want an actual account of the facts that happened in the way that they laid out. Well, Ms. Daniel, I think that your story is so important. Your family's story is so important. I'm glad that you've shared this with the world. What has the feedback been to the book? Have you heard from people? They're like, thank you so much for sharing this.
Oh, absolutely. The feedback has been so positive. And, being on a book tour and going out and hearing what people have to say, telling people, you too have a legacy. Everybody has a legacy. You just have to start, hey, with a family tree. It's that simple. You know who your parents are, hopefully. And, you can start right there and pass that down to your kids. But it's interesting that once you begin to start writing down the names of your family and you begin to fill in some of the, birth dates, marriage certificates, and things like that, and talking to your elders, the stories just come. So if people could take away anything from this book, and that is you too have a legacy, and write it down, because it's so easy for people to strip us of our history. It's so easy, but not if we, memorialize it in writing.
And that's what you've done, and you've done so beautifully. And I really do appreciate you taking the time today to chat with me for a little bit and spend a few moments. Everyone needs to go out there and get this book. I cannot recommend it enough. Miss Cheryl McKissack Daniel, I really do appreciate you today.
Thank you.